Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Music Den. I'm your host, Armando Venditti. Hoping you guys are having a good day and above all else that you're indeed looking after yourselves and one another. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I have another segment of live album spotlight for you. And in this episode, we are going to be discussing this album right here. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Jimmy Page and the Black Crowes live at the Greek. This is the 2025 expanded and remastered edition, the entire show. It is presented as I just showed you in a triple panel digipack format, and you guys know what I feel about or how I feel about uh, digipack releases. Very hard to get the CDs out, but beggars can't be choosers in this case, or basically in any case. So this is what the triple panel looks like on the inside with photos of the band during the shows. And I will get into the history of this album and who plays on this album. Fantastic release, ladies and gentlemen. It also comes with a poster that is a reproduction of the album cover. If I unfold it, I won't be able to fold it back up again. So here you go, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this album has a long release history. But before I get into that, I will get into who plays on the album. We have Jimmy Page on electric and acoustic guitars. Chris Robinson on lead vocals does a fantastic job. Rich Robinson on guitars and vocals. Steve Gorman on drums does a fantastic job. Eddie Harsh on keyboards. Audley Freed on guitars. Sven Pipien on bass. Now, Sven Pipien, from what I read, was fired in between the recording and the release of this album. He was rehired over the past few years. He's still with the band. And Greg Arzab on bass on two tracks on Misty Mountain Hop and In the Light. Now, uh, the release of this album, as I said, has a long history. The original release date was February 29th, 2000. The reissue was released on March 14th, 2025. The material for the album was recorded on October 18th and 19th, 1999, and the material was recorded at the Greek Theater, which is an amphitheater in Los Angeles, California. Has a seating capacity of 5,900 people, and it was released on three labels. Originally on musicmaker.com as a double disc version. Also later that year in 2000 on TVT Records, again as a double disc version. I was going to say compilation. And it was released twice on the Orchard Records, once in 2019 as a part of the 20th anniversary celebration of the album, and then again on March 14th, 2025. The album was produced by Kevin Shirley, who has worked as an engineer and producer for such bands as Def Leppard. And the album has a whopping playing time of 213 minutes, so 3 hours and 55 minutes. So just shy of 4 hours. You got a lot of music on this. Again, this is the uh, extended or expanded and full concert. A couple of the releases had Heartbreaker as the first track on the album. Um, this release is the full show, and you get 31 songs uh, and five songboard recordings. Now, in listening to this album, first of all, when it first came out in '99, obviously I was aware of the album, and I found it quite intriguing that the two entities would meet up, the Black Crowes and Jimmy Page, but I never bothered to buy the album, and I'm surprised I didn't, because from what I'm hearing, it's a fantastic album, very energetic. Now, there was a bit of controversy, which pissed off the Robinson brothers and the rest of the band. Columbia Records, who had recently signed the band in 1998, and the band had released the album By Your Side in 1999, forbid any Black Rose tracks to be released on the album, which again, pissed off the Robinson brothers and the rest of the band. On this release, you have all of the Black Crowes tracks reinstated in the running track order, and they're fantastic. Very energetic. The album starts off with Celebration Day from Zeppelin 3, and I gotta tell you, very energetic. Chris Robinson on lead vocals is just on fire. It follows up with Custard Pie uh, from Physical Graffiti, and then Sick Again. Um, and then track four has No Speak, No Slave, Black Rose track, followed up with Hard to Handle. Um, the Otis Redding cover, 3 minutes and 35 seconds. And again, there's a lot of energy on this release in terms of the interplay between the band members and Jimmy Page. I'm not sure who would have been considered a special guest on the album, whether it would have been the Black Rose or Jimmy Page, or for whether it was considered to be, like a collaboration. I do think it was considered to be a collaboration. And Rich Robinson and Jimmy Page on Code Lead guitar, just amazing. Really good, thick, rich guitar tone between the two of them doing lead guitar. After Hard to Handle, we have the Wonton song. Uh, Again, beautifully done. Misty Mountain Hop is next, and Hot Song from Nowhere is next on the release. And they do a beautiful version of What Is and What Should Never Be from Zeppelin 2. Track 10 on disc one, we have Wiser Time from the Black Rose. 7 minutes and 16 seconds. Beautifully done. Beautifully done. Just amazing. Mellow Down Easy, Little Walter cover. 5 minutes and 21 seconds is next. And disc one ends off with Woke Up This Morning, My Baby, She Was Gone, BB King track, and ends off with the beautiful 10 Years Gone. That's 13 tracks on disc one. Disc two starts off with a beautiful version of In My Time of Dying, just amazing. Then it segues into Your Time Is Gonna Come from Zeppelin 1. Beautifully done. Again, what I like about Chris Robinson's vocals on this, he goes for broke. I mean, in terms of his vocal approach, he shows no mercy. Like you know, he goes for the scream when he has to, and he really digs down deep and comes up with such a passionate vocal delivery on these tracks. Up next, after Your Time Is Gonna Come, is a Black Crowes track, one of my favorites, Remedy. Oh, just amazing. Track three on this, 5 minutes and 19 seconds. Beautifully done. You know what? Really faithful to the studio recording, but just a little bit of attitude here and there. There's a lot of attitude and swagger and sex going on here in terms of the interplay between Page and the band and the audience. The audience is just, lapping it up. The the one thing that I would say that's a bit of a critique on this release, you don't hear a lot of, I mean, you hear audience response, but it's mixed very low. It's not as integral to the in terms of loud enough. Like you basically hear the band and you hear the audience come in afterwards, but pretty much at a lower volume. Excuse me for screwing up on my wording, guys. I'm sorry about that. After Remedy comes the Lemon Song. Uh, Beautifully done, 8 minutes and 54 seconds. Then comes In the Light, 9 minutes and 10 seconds. Like it's just, and when you hear Chris Robinson come in on the vocals along with Rich, very faithful to the original recording, but done with passion and attitude. Beautifully done. Beautifully done. Up next after is the Elmore James track Shake Your Moneymaker after In the Light. Then comes a Jimmy Rogers track, Sloppy Drunk Blues, which I've never heard before. Then you have a track Shape of Things, okay? The Yardbirds cover, beautifully done. Afterwards, you have a blistering version of Nobody's Fault But Mine. Amazing. Just amazing the way it's done. Um, Heartbreaker is next from Zeppelin 2, and track 11, Bring It On Home. Attitude and swagger all over the place. Okay, this is, I could easily see the Stones doing this, with Jimmy Page. Okay, and of course, the Black Crowes have always been referred to as the American Rolling Stones because, a lot of sex, a lot of swagger, and a whole lot of attitude. And it is gripping on this album. Beautifully done. It is beautifully done. Um, Track 12 is a fantastic, really heartfelt version of She Talks to Angels from the Black Crowes. Okay, that is disc two. 12 tracks on disc two and 13 tracks on disc one. So you've got 25 tracks on two discs. Now, again, it is mostly Zeppelin material with some blues tracks, blues covers put in, and I call it a peppering of Black Crowes tracks. But the Black Crowes tracks are just as good when they're done, just as good as the Zeppelin tracks. Disc three starts off with a Fleetwood Mac cover of "Oh Well," and the last time I heard this was when Fleetwood Mac was in Edmonton. This, done by Peter Green, just amazingly done. Beautiful. Track two is like a 51-second band intros that comes in. And track three, Hey, Hey, What Can I Do from Zeppelin. Uh, Beautifully done. Again, a lot of sex, a lot of attitude. You Shook Me, Willie Dixon track from Zeppelin 1, clocking in at a mammoth 8 minutes and 30 seconds. Uh, Chris Robinson's vocals are delivered very passionately, very energetically. I mean, he throws everything into this performance of "You Shook Me." Out on the Tiles from Zeppelin 3 is next track, track number 5. And the show ends with a beautiful, blistering version of Whole Lotta Love. And again, uh, Chris Robinson's vocals on this are just over the top, in my very humble opinion. You may have a different opinion, but for me, uh, this version of it is simply fantastic. Up next are, five uh, soundboard recordings. You have Custard Pie, You Shook Me, The Lemon Song, 10 Years Gone, and there's a jam track where they just, the guys are just jamming as to what they want to do in terms of the show. Uh, so you have another 11 tracks on disc three, and 10 Years Gone just, clocks in at 11 minutes and 41 seconds, and the jam track where they're just, improv, improving off of one another, comes in at 10 minutes and 21 seconds. Okay. Now, again, um, this album, in terms of a live album, I think it is possibly one of the better live releases of 2025. Again, there is a lot of uh, interplay between Page and Robinson on co-lead guitars, and like when they go into Whole Lotta Love, the opening riff on guitar, uh, Jimmy Page comes in, and then Rich Robinson comes in on co-lead guitar, and the fact that they're doing it together, the lead riff together, just amplifies it and makes it more rich and more menacing, if that's even possible from the original. But there's a lot of energy on this release and a lot of interplay between the band members. And you do hear at the very end, you do hear Jimmy Page address the audience, thanking everyone for coming and thanking the and give asking him asking the audience to give it up for the Black Crowes because he believes that they did a fantastic job, that they really got along. And I do remember reading that after the release of this album, the original, they did some talk show appearances. I do believe they were on one of the late night shows. Oh, Jay Leno. Sorry, the Tonight Show with Jay Leno, and they performed. And Jimmy Page. This is what I read. Jimmy Page was having a great time with performing with them with the band, and Steve Gorman was having a great time as well on drums. And Jimmy Page thought that they were going to continue doing more dates together. And he had overheard Rich Robinson and Chris Robinson saying that they wanted to go back and go back home and continue with, some Black Crowes uh, stuff that they were going to do, like record more material. So Page kind of felt dejected. And when he overheard this, after the performance on the Tonight Show. This was during the performance, like on the show. They were backstage, going back to the dressing rooms. He basically packed up his guitar, went to the airport from the Tonight Show, and flew home, and didn't tell the band that he was leaving. Uh, and Steve Gorman had said that he, when he caught up with Page a few years later to talk about it, Page felt that he was kind of like pushed aside. He thought that they had a good camaraderie going on, and he felt kind of rejected when the Robinson brothers wanted to go off and continue with doing, the Black Rose material and recording more albums with, as the Black Rose. And yeah, I mean, Page did feel rejected after that performance on the Tonight Show. But and I have read recently that Chris Robinson has said that he really didn't think much of the release at the time because he didn't really like Robert Plant as a vocalist. I mean, he felt like they did the performances and they did a good job, but he didn't really feel any I guess a kinship to the material because of Robert Plant on vocals, which I find kind of interesting and kind of insulting myself, but that's just me. Anyways, there you have it, guys. Live album spotlight. Sorry, and please, if you know of the album, if you've listened to the album, Live with the Greek, please let me know what you think below down in the comments. Here, I'll show you the album again. This is a fantastic release. You can pick it up on Amazon for like 34 bucks. And the fact that it's a triple disc release, 34 bucks is not bad. So please check it out. Please let me know down there in the comments what you think of the album. And yeah, you know what? It's a fantastic release. It's the fact that it's a triple disc, it's a pretty reasonable price. So please, again, let me know what you think of the album. And yeah, please click like and subscribe, and do hit the notification bell to keep yourselves on top of any new content I've got coming up. This happens to be my 600th video. So I want to just take a quick moment to thank everybody that's been watching and supporting me for the last couple of years. And I also want to take time to thank Ryan Gavalier, who's helped me out in the past, Bill Schuster, who has continued to be a support and a great friend and a great contributor to the channel, and Jim Bricker and Ken Cheshire, who have come on recently on board about a year now, and they've both been really supportive on the channel and with what I've been doing, and they've been contributing fantastic ideas And we've got more ideas coming up. We're just going to have to put them together and get them to you as quickly as we can. So again, please look after yourselves and one another. And again, I'll show this again. Advertising isn't not a problem for me. Pick up Jimmy Page in the Black Rose Live at the Greek, the expanded and remastered edition on the Orchard Records label. You can get this anywhere that they sell CDs. And yeah, it is a fantastic release. So, guys, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you soon with more videos. Bye for now.